Yonkou versus New Generation. The title of the chapter does not leave room for doubt.
It is what it is. It is what it is.
Don't get me wrong, I love the way this is going. One Piece is a masterpiece in terms of world building. With each arc, we have known different civilizations, mythical creatures, mysterious objects, different life philosophies. It's an endless universe of islands full of fantasy and adventures ahead. But if something has teased us sometimes from oldest choice in the narrative spectrum are the omitted battles. It's obviously an entitlement of the author to decide whether to show something or not, to give more panels and time to some situations and leave other events to the reader's interpretation. But Oda has off-screen, in some occasions, battles either literally died to see completed, and not just a simple mention of them or a panel representing a clash. The chapter starts exactly where 1001 ended. Kaido and Big Mom are in these skies. Just by comparing them side by side, we can deduce he is immensely huge. Kaido channels the wind-based attack that ripped off Kieca's arm in chapter 993. There is at least one slashing projection targeted at each supernova, so the next panels are the different ways each pirate deals with that upcoming threat. Law disappears with his OP fruit abilities. Kid and Killer both are safe with no injury, but the captain did not manage to completely dodge with such big metal exoskeleton under his control. So the wind blade tears off one of the robot's arms. I think Kid does not care anymore about losing another arm at this stage of the story.
I don't give a shit what you think.
Okay, Jenny Roten, but your vice captain is indeed worried. Since chapter 944, we have a clear idea these two characters share a special bond, and I love these details in the midst of the chaos. Kid right away answers Killer that he doesn't need to worry, he was all scrapped to begin with. He says this with such stoneless face that I'd like to think he didn't care neither when he lost his real arm fighting the Red Horse pirates. Not because he's crazy, but because if losing his arm means to be able to continue fighting, then f*** off arm. Zoro deals with the attack with one single swing of hammer, not even looking at it, because
cool guys don't look at explosions, they blow things up and then walk away.
Now being serious, I'm sure that Zoro realized that it was probably the kind of attack that cut off Kiki's arms, so he's not simply deflecting the attack, he's doing it while glaring at Kaido in all his might. His factions and the entire face covered in a big shadow portrays perfectly his rage. Kiku is a dear friend of him, and Zoro wants retribution. Luffy dodges it with his absurd speed in his Gear 4 form and attacks Kaido with a Gomu Kong rifle. It's been a while since we have seen Luffy using the rifle concept in one attack. If I recall correctly, there's not been a single one in the post-time skip era. The singularity of the rifle punch attack is the rotatory factor that Luffy employs in his arm to give the impact a drilling effect that stays over time after the fist contacts. I found similarities between this panel on the first episode of the manga and one we have 24 years later. Okay, remember Kid lost a robotic arm recently? Well,
Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out!
It's impressive the control he has over his devil fruit. In less than a few seconds, he reinvented a second arm again with all the scrap metal in order to grab Kaido's by the head. It seems that Kid is the only one who for the moment is gonna stick to the strategy of pure strength, smashing and throwing Kaido all over the place. Anyway, I like it this way. If maintaining Punk Roten with magnetic powers does not wear down Kid's stamina, he would be by far the most durable fighter in terms of pure energy. Talking about strategy, Law claimed in last episode he would go straight inside the body to deliver a surgical death. And now, with a cocky attitude, he jokes about not having read of an anatomical chart of dragons, but he will try to strike to the heart, and then he uses his Gamma knife. With that comment, he reminded me of Dr. Stein, a character from the manga Soul Eater, who is always craving to dissect and experiment, even in combat. where he also uses those kinds of medical abilities. It would be awesome to see Law so pissed that he displays a sadistic aura of a mad surgeon wanting to extract hearts, brains, eyes, and everything out of his victim. Trafalgar D. Waterloo is a character with a huge potential, and I get shivers when he uses medical science in combat. And Law, we don't know if Odin went for a hard-cutting blow when he left the scar on Kaido, but if he just did, just go for the X on the chest.
X marks the spot.
Killer's attack got me confused for a couple of minutes. I deduced by the visuals of the signs a kind of a wave ripple difference. Maybe this is done through a sound amplification device inside the boxes of the forearms, where I guess the rotatory mechanism is located too. With that attack, Killer solves the so headaching problem the Emperor's stop scheme gave him last time. Big Mom in this chapter is an absolute beast. Just as I asked in my last video, she manages to hit every single supernova. Now, she's a stroke killer after realizing he has hurt Kaido. The nature of the attack is brilliant. She's infused her soul into the lightning of the storm above them, and possibly that same storm is amplified by Kaido's artificial clouds. All this damage happens in different moments of the episode, but just as this battle is a chaos, making a script for it was a challenge too. I'll say it again. This attack was genius, because now the lightning has conscience. Thunder can chase the supernovas at will, even if they try to dodge it. So now she's saying there will be no escape for anyone under the heavens. Makes even more sense. This concept of a projectile with conscience was shown first in Whole Cake Island, in some goofy cannonball. But at that time, it was not very effective because Big Mom was not mentally stable. Law is tired of being the public teleporting service for everyone.
Taxiing is not as sexy as it looks.
But he did anyway, so Zoro could use Kinnaman's technique one more time. It's a clean cut. He saved his captain once again by cutting the fire. This is a confirmation that he has mastered this technique. Then, the vice captain of the Straw Hats channeled a powerful attack with Emma. The name of the attack is the same as the one used to defeat the zombie of the god of the samurais, Ryuma. But that's not the first time that attack has been drawn. Eiichiro Oda, long time ago, made Ryuma, the protagonist of his one-shot manga, Monsters, to behead a dragon with that same swarma preparation, pose, and cut. In that panel, Ryuma beheaded the mighty dragon. Will this be the foreshadowing of the final moments in Kaido's life? All we can do is to wait for it. Unfortunately, Zoro misses the attack, cutting a huge portion of Onigashima School's horn. It's very possible he failed the aim of the slash and cannon technique because he's not used to Enma's draining haki properties. But it is very clear that overusing of his haki will take our swordsman to a point beyond exhaustion. Luffy is purposely not dodging Big Mom's lightning. One good idea a friend of my hometown told me, Mario, is 2 specific facts that could be used in this fight if Oda decides to use a more scientific approach, like NL's against Luffy's fight, or the fact that he introduced us to a new property of Gon with the Gear 4, the compression of Gon. Those ideas are, when lightning circulates through a metal, a magnetic field is generated, and vice versa. Big Mom's lightning could multiply exponentially Kieca's speed in Punk Roten form, and therefore not only speed but strength too, being able to move a bigger amount of metal. And secondly, if rubber is exposed continuously to heat like Luffy was through Burrow's Breath Blast, it can be vulcanized, losing a bit of its elasticity properties but gaining hardness and resilience. He is not evading Kaido's borrowed breath neither, but the difference here is that lightning does not affect him by nature because he's made of rubber. On the other hand, Kaido's attack could really damage him, so why doesn't Luffy dodge Kaido's attack? To prove he has the guts to fight against that deadly calamity. To prove it like he did against Don Krieg. They can throw bombs, spears, poison, a nuclear weapon at him if they dare. They can try to mock him with tricks. Beat him almost to death. Stop his heart. He is made of rubber. He can't be crushed. His conviction will lead him to the very end of his journey. Even if it costs his life, he won't hesitate to move forward. And this is how the chapter ends, with a Gomu Gomu no Kong Gatling, putting all the guts with each punch, the guts and the will of the Pirate King.